You know, for me, one of the great treats of getting out into the countryside is to check out local garden centres. Look at these salvias. Aren't they beautiful? And the daisies, fantastic. And of course, to visit their local gardens. What a beautiful day. You know, just outside Barrel here in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales is a private award-winning garden that is a masterpiece for all seasons. So many layers of passion and inspiration. This is magnificent Greenbrier Park. I told you it was something special. You feel like you're waiting for the stagecoach to arrive back in the 1880s. But believe it or not, it was built in 1989 and the garden's grown up around it. And the thing that I really love about it, even on this sunny but very chilly morning, it has a really warm, friendly feel to it. Maybe it's the design and the sandstone and the garden. But it's very formal, and so is the landscape in the front. So the two unite together really beautifully. Without a doubt, the success of this little Italianate garden here is its simplicity. Not a lot of plants, minimalistic. So how do they create that? Well, for a start, one of the secrets of any garden design is to add water. Just listen to it. It's so relaxing and peaceful. It doesn't need to be a grand structure like this one. They'd be quite small, just a little waterfall. By adding water in the garden, you instantly connect yourself or any of your visitors with nature, serene and beautiful. We all know the Mediterranean pencil pines, but this is the golden version that was discovered here in Australia. This is Swain's golden pencil pine. Aren't they beautiful? On the outside, you've got Japanese box, dark green and really lush, clipped nice and low, then a ground cover. 4 beautiful pieces of Italianate statuary. They're more classic in design, but you can make this much smaller for your garden. That's what I'd love to do in my place here. Just shrink this whole circle here and make it look more suited for a smaller landscape. Because they've got the space, they've continued the water flow down under the stairs. It reappears in a beautiful rill that takes your eye all the way down to the little temple, the stone temple at the end. If you've got the space, why not? People often ask me, oh, it just seems to be too hard to get colour in the garden during winter. Well, other than using annuals, there's a whole host of perennials and small shrubs that will give you that colour. Take here, for example. It's always going to be attractive to bees and to your eye. It's just a lovely, soft combination. If you want sort of different storage and different heights and different levels, start with the Rigeron, the seaside daisy. Flowers 12 months of the year, never stops. Even the little South African Polygala. This one's called Little Bibi. It flowers virtually all year round. A little bit taller, so it gives a little bit height variation. I noticed there's quite a bit of purples and mauves combined here, like the lavenders. Beautiful, rich, rich colour as a little ground cover. As I came up the stairs, I noticed this level here is softened off by some rather unusual shrubs you don't see very often, phlomis. At the other end, the rare pink one. Have a look for them at your local garden centre. They're worth searching out for. And how about the new New Zealand versions of the Coprosma? These are variegated colours, fiery bright reds and variegations. Yep, there's plenty of colour in the winter garden if you look around. And yet another surprise, this magnificent sandstone structure. But you know what's really remarkable about Greenbrier Park is that it started out with a dream with vision. When the owners bought the property in 1985, yes, they wanted to create a grand country estate. Well, they've achieved that, but they didn't want it to compete with the Australian landscape. They love trees. And if there's any indication, 30 years ago, they planted this magnificent oak. You can do this the same when your kids are born. 30 years later, that's what you get when they leave home. They've planted now a magnificent arboretum of 110 trees. Wow, isn't it incredible? That's adding to the existing ginkgos. There's 2 Wallamai pines planted just a year after they were discovered in Australia. The whole place is really a great legacy for future generations. But have a look at the eucalypts. Would you believe it? They're over 200 years old. That's what we've all got to do, plant more trees. Coming into winter, great gardens like Greenbrier Park in the Southern Highlands take on a special serene quality. It really is a masterclass in garden design for all seasons. Nothing like a flat sheet of water to create mystery and magic in a garden. And this beautiful pond is creating fabulous reflections. It's like walking into a painting. The clouds just drift by, the tree reflections as they grow. Even the deciduous winter trees have lost their leaves, but the tracery looks fabulous, not only in the skyline, but reflected in the water. Believe it or not, just on 40 years ago, when the owners arrived here, this was a degraded cattle property, not much happening, and here was just a bog. Now will you look at it? Around the outside, of course, there's a bit of extra moisture coming from the pond, so the last of the autumn colours are there. The dramatic deep burgundy of the cotinus or smokebush is such a standout at this time of the year. And this huge pond is overlooked by a magnificent picea, one of the spruce species. There are 2 more ponds in the garden. This one is more intimate, smaller, but it's surrounded by a greater variety of foliage colours. Look at them all through here. The reflections are still coming. Look at the Japanese maple reflected in the water, but my eye is absolutely captured by, I think, my most favourite shrub of all, the loculia. And this one here, pink musk. Look at those flowers. But it's the perfume. It's just one of the most sensational perfumes that you can get in a garden. The other pond, very simple, along the colonnade. And you can create the same sort of look with a much smaller pond, and it doesn't need to be deep like these are. Even a couple of centimetres is enough, as long as it's dark black painted on the bottom, or blue, and then you still get these wonderful reflections. That's the magic of these sort of ponds and these large bodies of water. really is a landscape that just keeps on giving. Just behind the house is a 4-year-old sunken garden. Looks older, but it's quite young. And it's a complete sun trap facing north, these sandstone walls covered in crepuscule rose. And then down here, a beautiful collection of Japanese maples, just lovely in their late autumn colour. When you look at the intimacy of this landscape, you could create this at home. It can be a lot smaller, a little courtyard, a little water fountain, your favourite plants. Tranquility. It's good for the soul, you know.